We are officially back. This is the Nola Experience podcast. And I am here with super producer Mr.
Hey,
Millie.
hey, hey, hey. What it good?
I'm going to start singing. Mr. Millie. No? Nola.
Yeah.
Nola.
Hey.
Ugh. And
You have
that's
a
the
great
reason,
podcast voice.
you know what?
Great.
Let's stick to the podcast voice and let's stick to being an entrepreneur.
Wonderful.
That's my day job.
I concur.
That's what I want to do in life, work for myself. I have a problem with bosses yelling at me.
Mm-hmm.
People
Got
are
a
like,
problem
why
with
did you become an
authority.
entrepreneur? Not a problem with authority. I don't like to say that because I feel like 10 years from now, somebody's going to dig this shit up and say, see, look.
She has a problem with authority.
I don't have a problem with authority. I have a problem with how authorities use their power when they're abusing it, and cursing your employees out, yelling at them. It's
Abuse
probably,
of authority.
yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely one of the reasons why I became an entrepreneur. Preneur. Entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I don't like that word.
I think it's a French word.
I feel I
Entrepreneur.
so do you know what it's called when a person owns a lot of restaurants? People think it's restaurateur. Do you know what it is?
When a person owns a lot of restaurants,
Mm-hmm. People think it's restaurateur. It's really restaurateur.
French franchising.
Ugh, just ugh.
A what?
Restaurateur, not restaurateur.
Restaurateur?
Restaurateur. Stop making me say it because now it sounds awkward. Restore
Restaurateur.
Restaurateur. Yeah, restaurateur. It's
Sounds like
not
a villain in a
restaurateur.
90s cartoon.
So let me tell you, 2020, 2020, I woke up and decided that going the route where I'm focusing on, and I think we do this a lot because we have bills, right? Going the route where the most money is because you have bills to pay, you want to maintain a certain lifestyle. Um,
Hmm.
that was my mindset for a long time. And I have been pushing my passions, my talents to the side a
Hmm.
lot. So this podcast is something that I've been wanting to do since like 2008.
Wow.
Okay, like 12 years. I did not necessarily want to do a podcast. I don't
Mm.
even think I knew what a podcast was in 2008, but I did want to do some type of show where I could express myself in certain
Hmm.
ways. And here we are. So 2020 started. I woke up one day and decided that, okay, I am going after my passions, even though the money is going to be kind of a slow climb. And I am completely okay with that because from the moment I made that decision to go with my passion, so many things have changed
Hmm.
inside, internally, externally. Certain people have been showing up. The I feel like the right people, start showing up when you open the doors for certain things. The right people start to walk through them. So I
Hmm.
started putting the podcast, creating it because you were one of the people who, and my girl Felicia, you guys were both like, you need to do a podcast. You need to do a podcast. You need to do a podcast. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, let's do the podcast." And when I decided, huh?
I said, now we're here.
Now we're
Sorry.
here. And when I decided to go with the passion instead of money, focusing on only the money, um, this was created. I also started an apparel business, um, designing and printing shirts. The one I'm wearing right now is shout out to Entrepreneurs Takeover. This is one of theirs. I support other business people, other entrepreneurs like crazy because I completely understand the importance of that support. So I started the apparel line, which I really did because I want my son to also be an entrepreneur. I want him to
Mm-hmm.
understand the importance of being able to um, leverage your time the way you want to leverage your time, and not
Super
have
facts.
your time be at the mercy of another person who's leveraging their time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
with Front Road Apparel, um, I design shirts. A cousin of mine, who's the owner of Kings and Queens Printery, she does the printing, which, of course, that's another family connection. And my
Beautiful.
son, he designs stuff for the kids. And he's been selling
Superb.
out. Yeah, he's been selling out. He runs
Superb.
around the house like, oh my God, I'm rich. And I'm like,
Not quite there, but that's good.
speak it into existence, right? So
Beautiful. Beautiful.
that's Front Road Apparel. And my baby Sumptuous Bites is my vegan food business, where I educate people on veganism. Whether you are curious about becoming a vegan, I teach you how you can even get your foot in the door. Or maybe you decide, you know what, this is not for me, I'm gonna stick with the meat.
Mm.
I don't shove anything down people's throats. People who are new vegans, if you a lot of times people become vegans and they're intimidated. They're like, I don't know what to eat, the options are slim. I
Oh.
teach you how to find the foods and how to make them delicious. And the people who just want to get their feet wet and dabble in it a little bit, I help all of those people. And of course, because I graduated from culinary school, I know how to cook. And then I know how to cook for my
Ooh.
family. You know what I mean? My mom is an exceptional chef and a restaurant owner. So my
I've been to the
entrepreneur,
restaurant. It's wonderful.
yeah, you have a couple of
When
times.
I was a meat eater,
Oh yeah, you transitioned too. Oh, everybody coming to the
transitioned.
V side. And I am also working on implementing a mini vegan menu for the restaurant. So for the vegan people who feel like, oh, it's too many meats, you can pull up at the Hills restaurant. Shout out to my mom, who inspired me to be an entrepreneur. Watching my mom work super hard and then deciding I'm going to work for myself. Watching her go from that to that was truly inspirational. And she was
Mm.
one of the few people, one of the few Guyanese women who I saw do that on the level that she did. And I was like, I am not getting a job.
Mm.
I am not, but I do work for my mother. I still manage the restaurant remotely. So I still
Yeah.
have that going on. And then I have the podcast, and then I have the apparel, and then I have the Sumptuous Vegan stuff going on. So with Sumptuous Bites, I'm releasing a cookbook in February 2021. There's a lot going on. And I feel so good about that because, again, it's a passion purpose.
Mm.
Purpose is passion, pleasure is passion. What was it? Pleasure is purpose. Well,
Pleasure is purpose.
yes, and when you're following your passions, it's pleasurable,
Passion is purpose too.
and passion is purpose too. So
Yeah.
pleasure, passion, and purpose. Let's
Ooh.
figure out the correct order for that. Purpose, pleasure, something. So
Uh huh.
I am pro entrepreneurship, but I am also very aware that it's not for everybody. There are so many people out here who are saying, you know, black people are struggling with this. Or if you have been quarantined and you had all this time on your hands, you should be coming out with some type of skill. You should be coming out with a new business and whatnot. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily agree with that, because I do
Yeah.
feel like we have been traumatized. Like, we have been
Mm-hmm.
going through a lot. People have been getting sick, obviously. People are losing people. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not, that type of situation is not always conducive to creating, right? But for the people who have been able to come out of this with new skills and a new business, and um,
Mm-hmm.
turning into budding entrepreneurs. Congratulations. That's super dope. I am with
Superb.
you. Shoot me your business. Follow me on
Yes,
Instagram.
please.
I'm not
Please.
about these numbers. I follow back. I support people. I make purchases. If I need a product and a friend of mine, or a service, and a friend of mine provides that product or service, I go to them first. I always do that. And if I
Yeah.
absolutely cannot get it from someone I know, then I branch out and I'll go somewhere else. But I'm all for the
Yeah.
entrepreneur life, man. But not for everybody, because
Very true.
it does take a lot out of you. It does take a certain mental stamina that, man, some days I'm like, you know what, maybe I should go back to bartending.
Out of all
Yo,
things, bartending.
some days I'm like, gosh, why didn't I take that pole dancing class? Why?
Sheesh. That hard, huh? That hard.
Some days it gets crazy like that, but I'm kidding, because I don't want to be at the mercy of a person who might be stringing me along or taking me off my God-given path. I have been
Mm,
blessed with these talents and blessed with this passion, and um, I'm not going to ruin that by giving all of my time to another person. And if
sure.
you're an entrepreneur, you have a 9 to 5 too, do your thing. Like, I'm not knocking
Hmm.
anybody. This is just my personal um, preference.
Yeah.
And very shortly, we're gonna have somebody coming in. We're gonna have an entrepreneur coming in. Shout out
Yes.
to Tanya, who is an entrepreneur that I admire as well. She's gonna
Definitely
be,
excited to speak to her. She seems really dope. She seems really knowledgeable and experienced. So
yeah, and she's a dope
conversation for sure.
personality.
Cause I got questions. Yeah.
You got
I feel
questions?
like, yeah, I'm one of those entrepreneurs, and I don't want to make it seem like it's a bad thing because I don't feel like it's a bad thing at all. I'm one of those type of entrepreneurs where I've had so many businesses, and um, I get, I guess I could say failed. Like most of them have failed, but I don't take that as a bad thing because I'm just one of those people. Like I have so many ideas, and if I come up with the idea, I have so many ideas I haven't tried, but a lot of them I was like, you know what, let me try it, and I just went out and tried it, and I took the first 10 steps or whatever it is, and then I was like, oh yeah, okay, maybe this is not it, and I jumped out. But um I have so many of those things that I'm just like, you know what? Let me throw the idea out, see if it works. And it may just be a thing about timing. I feel like a few of them are just timing. The times that I put them out wasn't the right time, and they're ideas that I've stored in the book for later. I have like so many ideas written down that are just like, all right, when I get the capital, I can make this idea happen. When I get this equipment, I can make this idea happen. When I'm settled down, I can make this idea happen. I have all these things that's written down. But I don't take that as a fault at all. I just feel like, you gotta fail. You gotta fail forward. And that's what I do. I always fail, but I fail forward. Like, all right, that didn't work, but I'm not gonna sit back and be like, all right, I'm just not gonna do anything now.
Now,
You know.
that's what I would consider a failure. I don't
Mm-hmm.
consider a business that didn't work out a failure, and I don't consider going into something and realizing it's not working for you a failure. I feel like that's
Mm-hmm.
an attribute that's super important as an entrepreneur. So many of us go into these business and become slave to that, and become a slave to that particular business because we feel like we have to carry it out. If it's not working for you, it's super important
Mm-hmm.
to know when to walk away. Like, this is not serving me, this is not working out, I'm out. That's
Mm-hmm.
important. I think it becomes a failure when you have this passion and it's burning inside of you and you know what you need to be doing, but you don't do it. That to
Mm-hmm.
me is failing. Like I said earlier, I can sense my gifts. I know what was given to me. And these things were not given to me by mistake. It wasn't an accident. You know what I mean? Um, and I have to do something with it. So having all these ideas is such a dope thing. When you can keep coming up with ideas all the time, your
Yeah,
brain is working. That's super
for
dope.
sure. Yeah.
But it does not mean that you're meant to walk down that path. And if you
Mm-hmm.
decide, like, I'm gonna jump off, this is not what I thought it would be, so be it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then being an entrepreneur too, it's not about sticking to a business. I think a lot of people don't realize there's a difference between being a business person and an entrepreneur, or a business owner and an
Mm,
entrepreneur. You have entrepreneurs who start businesses, maybe sell them to somebody else and move on, you know.
mm,
But then you have a business owner who starts a business and that's their thing. They stick with it, they nurture it, or whatever. And if you're an entrepreneur and you start multiple businesses and you stick with them, then you're both you're both an
mm,
entrepreneur and a business owner. So
mm.
you didn't fail, boo. You just,
Absolutely.
yeah, you have to go with your gut. You have to go with the feeling and realize what works and what doesn't work for you.
Uh,
And if it ain't working,
yeah, I think it was a quote by, I want to say, who's the dude who did the light bulb? Benjamin Franklin. I don't know how true these things are, but I think it was a quote that said something like, he failed 1,000 times or 10,000 times to make the light bulb, and then he responded like saying he didn't fail 1,000 times. He just found 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb.
absolutely.
And
I
all it
love
takes
that.
is one time. You only need to be right one time.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I think that's brilliant. I think that's so important to remember that, excuse me, the trials are the stepping stones.
Sure.
You know, they take you to where you need to go.
Hmm.
And I've had someone say to me, "You used to do this and you used to do that. What happened to that? It didn't happen anymore. What happened?" But I'm also aware that people who are not business people, people who are not entrepreneurs, they don't there's a lot that they don't understand.
Yeah.
There's a lot that they don't get.
Yeah.
And there's so many misconceptions when you're on the outside looking in. You know, people
Hmm.
assume, one misconception is people feel like, "Oh, you're a business owner, you must have money."
Yeah. Oof. What? That's probably the biggest.
Not all
Probably
the
the
time.
biggest.
A lot of times the business owner is the one taking all the L's. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just making
Putting up all the
sure,
money.
yep, up all night,
Uh huh. All the time. All
waking
the
up
money.
super early.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I saw a video. I think it was this morning. I saw a video this morning about the difference between an entrepreneur and being self-employed. And they were saying people get that confused a lot, but usually the person who's self-employed usually cannot make their own hours or cannot do whatever they want. You know, say like you get a Subway, you purchase a Subway, you still have to open that Subway at a certain time. You're going by, even though you are the one who purchased it and blah blah blah, and you run it, you manage it, you still can't do whatever you want. There's certain regulations that you still have to follow with that
Exactly.
Subway, you know, with the putting up the flyers and all this thing and what you can and cannot serve. And that's different between an entrepreneur who you 100% own everything. You can make your own time, make your own menus, do whatever absolutely you want, and have more freedom. I guess it's really just a freedom um, thing between being self-employed and being an entrepreneur, and just having that full 100% scope of accessibility to do whatever is in your ideas and thoughts and power.
Yeah, and you know, as an employee, you come in and you probably have like a department that you work in. You probably have like one job, you know, one
Mm,
thing that you're in charge of, one thing that you have to make sure is happening. And as the business owner, you have to worry about everything.
every job. Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you have to be that employee as well. Sometimes you have to
Yeah.
be the one who um is doing the mopping because the cleaning person is sick,
Mhm.
or you're serving food because your server, something happened with that, or you end up being the chef or whatever, and wearing
Mhm.
all of those hats. Man, I love when you can wear all of those hats because it just shows your dynamics. It just shows
Mhm.
how multi-dimensional you are. I think that's super dope. But there are some business owners who don't know how to do a thing, like, and that comes with being an entrepreneur too, right?
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs sometimes have no idea how to run the business that they created. They just did the research and figured out that, um, okay, this is what I can make from this, and this is what can happen, and they have the market numbers and whatnot. And then they start the business, but if you put them behind that counter, or you put them in that kitchen, or you
They
put
won't
them on
know
the
what to
floor,
do. Yeah.
they will not know what to do.
Mhm.
And that's okay, because the goal in that is, you create this business, and you get a nice team. You get a great team, and you let the team do what they do. You delegate, and you grow your business, and then you can move on to another one. I mean, look at
Yeah.
Jay-Z. Look at
Mhm.
Jay-Z with the record label, and then he went to
Clothing
Tidal,
line.
and then the
Mhm.
clothing line, and then he went to the Nets, and all of these
Yeah.
different things. Like, I know that at no there wasn't a point where he's like, what, I'm going to be doing this forever.
Yeah.
That's not what an entrepreneur does. I will start this business and invest $100 in it, right? And then develop it into a dope company, and now it's worth 10 million or $10,000, some type of crazy number,
Yeah.
and then I can sell it for a crazy
Mhm.
number, and then someone buys that, starting
Mhm.
with $100 investment. Like, I went a little bit crazy with the 10 million, but
Yeah. I mean, never know.
true
You
that.
never know. I'm pretty sure there's a
Absolutely.
business out there that started with like a super minimum low uh investment and turned into something that you just can't even, imagine.
Yeah, I mean, there's a meme. There's a meme with a collage showing how a lot of these Fortune 500 companies, how they started.
Mhm.
Um, and then there's one that shows like the social media companies, like they showed how Amazon started,
Yeah.
how
I know
Facebook
exactly.
started. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about,
It
right?
was like in garages,
Like,
right? It was like
right, a little
Amazon started in a
garage,
garage.
right, with one computer and one
Yeah.
person, and now I don't know how many employees Amazon has, but um yeah,
Thousands upon
yeah,
thousands.
you can definitely grow from $100 to billions, clearly.
Yeah.
um you know with the pandemic happening, Amazon made pretty buck, pretty buck.
They
The-
stock didn't move either. I was waiting for it to go down and come back up. And I guess, it makes sense because as soon as it happened, it was like, all right, we're going to switch to Amazon. So
yeah.
their stock didn't like make a crazy jump up and down. Tesla did,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yep.
I can't had a little come up on Tesla, but unfortunately, Amazon missed that boat.
I can't knock anybody. I mean, there's a game. The game has strategies. The game has
Hmm.
rules, and if people are playing by that rules, by the rules, and they know how to navigate them, then
Hmm.
I'm all for it. But I
Sure.
also feel like when these businesses get to a certain level where they're now this conglomerate, you know, excuse me, a lot of times when you learn of some of the stories behind the scenes, these people have had to go through some things
Yeah.
to get there, and we look at them and we're like, man, I want to be Jeff. I want to
Yeah.
be Mark,
I want
you
to
know.
be Elon.
I want to be in my bank account. I want to have all those zeros, but you have no idea what these people have had to go through
Yeah, what
uh,
sacrifices they had to make. I can only imagine
to
their
get there.
relationship with
You know
their
what I
kids
mean?
and stuff. It's probably like nothing. Like they
Yeah, and
probably have no relationship with family members, parent. Like it's probably bad, but it's
yeah,
a sacrifice you have to be willing to make.
yeah, and even in my space, where I'm at, you
Mm,
feel the sacrifice happening. You see it happening right away because in order to get your company or your business to a certain level, you do have to dedicate a lot of your time.
yeah.
And I think your values come into play because a lot of these people who have these companies, yes, they're taking 10 meetings a day, or they're constantly on a flight, or they're MIA. They miss all the plays, all the practice, all the sporting
Mm,
events, holiday time with the family and whatnot. And some of them feel justified, like, I am supporting all of you, and look
yeah.
how good you're living. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Susie has a new car and she's 16 and she's pushing this whip that other 16-year-olds are dreaming of. And
Yeah.
the husband or the wife, they're living lavish as well. So why are complaining? But
Yeah.
understanding that there should be a balance of time. I think
Mm,
there are some sacrifices where, and people are always like, how do you have an entrepreneur personal life balance? It really doesn't exist. I
yeah.
think at some point something is being sacrificed. At some
Yeah.
point, um one or the other is being sacrificed. But I think when that sacrifice leans way too much on one side,
Yeah.
that's when, in my opinion, there's an issue. If you're doing too much of the personal things and you're not giving your
Sure.
business or your venture the attention that it needs, then the business is going to suffer.
Mm,
And if you do it with the business, then your kids don't know you, your spouse doesn't know you, and your family is all out of whack.
yeah.
So how do you balance? You're doing a lot. How do you
Yeah.
balance?
Not well. Uh, I definitely will say. I feel like it's a sacrifice. I've always been kind of bad at time management. I'm trying and working on getting better at it, but usually I try to do one thing at a time and like try to reserve little pockets for other things. But when I'm doing one thing, like everything else is off. So that's usually what it is. It's like a lot of the times it's like a dedication to one thing, or maybe two or three things. But I can't do all of the things that I want to do at the same time. It's usually just like, all right, focus on this thing for now, and then all right, when that's done, I can focus on this, and that's done, focus on this. But it's definitely that way. Is like some things always, like you said, you have to sacrifice. So some things are
Mm-hmm.
being coming sacrifice. Like something's losing focus
Yeah,
in order for
true.
me to focus on this other thing. But that's, I feel like that's just the name of the game. That's just the way it has to go. Like you can't focus on everything, and everything can't have the same amount of equal time and love, and it just needs to be sacrificed in one way for the greater good.
So
You
how
know?
did you, as an artist, do you
Mm.
consider yourself an entrepreneur in the artist realm?
Yeah, because everything that I do, I own. I own it all. I do it all on my own, down to creating my own beats, recording
Mm.
my own music, writing my own songs. sometimes editing my own videos and photos.
Mm.
So in that aspect, definitely, like if I upload a video on YouTube and the YouTube video gets monetized, I'm making money off of that. And I mean, that money's
Mm.
not going to somebody else, somewhere, collecting my cents. It's going straight to me. So yeah, definitely.
I
It's
love it.
all
I love it.
That's definitely one of my businesses: the music production, music recording, music artistry.
I love it.
They're all three separate entities and three separate businesses that kind of work together, but still
I love
separate.
it. I love it.
Yeah.
So, Tanya is here. We're ready
Whoop
to
whoop.
patch her in.
I
No,
just had
Makeisha.
I apologize. I know you guys said to set up, but today was just one of those days I couldn't be like an hour ahead.
listen, we were just obviously we're talking about entrepreneurship, and as an entrepreneur, it happens like things fall apart. You will present an amazing product, and people have no idea that you almost died to present
Uh-huh.
that.
That is a whole fact. That is a whole fact.
People don't know what you go through. They don't know that you're losing sleep, that your family is not seeing you, or whatever. So, well, let me tell you guys a little bit about Tanya. First of all, I'm a little bit biased because you are Guyanese, and uh, I am a little bit. I admit it. I'm honest. And I think it's super dope because I do not feel like, based on my experiences, I haven't seen a lot of Guyanese women step out into the business world and do things on certain levels. And it's happening a lot. It's happening a lot today. My mom, to me, is a pioneer for that. Shout out to mommy. And a lot of the women today are stepping out and doing things on different levels. So not that we have never been business women or entrepreneurs, but it's just the levels of it. So Tanya is a small business owner currently working with budding entrepreneurs to help develop their businesses from planning to execution. I'm going to give you a second to talk about your brand a little bit and, tell the people what's up.
Okay, hey guys, my name is
Hello.
Mekeisha. My name is Mekeisha, fondly known as Tanya. Most people on social media know me as Bad Girl Tanya, so thus the initials BGT. I recently rebranded my entire business. I'm going under now the BGT brand. I have been officially in business for over 7 years. I've done different types of businesses. As of right now, considering what we've been through with the pandemic, and I see myself as a resource, and I saw that the access to information, or the way information is passed on to young business owners or just eager business owners, it seems like a lot is held back. I do understand this is some people's business model, and their goal is to, of course, for their self-interest primarily. I feel like, just personally, some things are overpriced, and there's so many people who are eager and willing to learn and want to do it work, but they just simply don't have the resources, especially during the pandemic, where people are losing jobs, where people are being downsized for load. So I thought it was officially my calling to be that bridge between people who are willing, eager to learn, or have the willingness to take that step into entrepreneurship, or those who have been there and have been either struggling, or they feel like they're not operating at optimum, to bridge them to the information that a lot of people have cut them off for. And the main thing, it being financial. I decided to open myself up, open the resources I have up, open my knowledge up to people, and just provide them with what is necessary to have just not just a business, but a good business, and primarily a good Black business.
Ooh.
Blah, blah,
Keys,
blah, blah.
keys. Bloop, bloop.
I love it. I love it.
Beautiful.
Keywords. I love the keywords. Black business
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
owner.
See, I got my
Um,
Wakanda Forever shirt on, like, and my
Oh,
Africa chain. I'm about the life.
w-
I'm about the life.
wonderful. Wonderful. That is
I love
all
it.
great and perfect timing, because I feel like, especially now with everything that we're going through, it's no better time to be a Black business owner and, because the revolution is here.
It
We gotta
is.
rise up with our entrepreneurship and our businesses. So your service comes at the perfect time, and definitely, like you said, super necessary.
Yeah.
I want to also make it crystal clear that my services are for those who need it. I say all the time when I do my business lives or I have consultations, I let people know that please do not feel forced to start a business or forced to learn a language or forced to have a new skill developed during this pandemic. It is still a pandemic. People are still at risk. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of mental health thing that's happening. So I don't want anyone to feel like they have to do this.
Yeah.
What I do is for the people who want it, who genuinely in their hearts want it.
And who are
And there are
able.
people who, yeah, and they're able to. They're in the mental space to do this. They have the resources, they have the drive to do it. And it's in no way, shape, or form meant to make people who are not here or just not even willing to or just don't have the strength to feel bad in any way, shape, or form. And I want to make that very, very clear.
Don't worry
Sure.
with them people.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna let them put a translation when I go. I'm gonna let them put a translation on the screen. Don't worry with them.
So don't worry with them people.
I think I'm gonna let Tanya keep talking because when she talks, she answers my questions when she's
Really?
talking. Yes,
That's
because
Really?
awesome.
So you're
I
trying
was
to say I'm good at PR? I probably am good at better at PR. I think I really am then, if that's
I
the
know.
case.
Well, I need a publicist. So
Ah,
and
another business.
another thing that I love about your brand is the authenticity. Um to me, I feel like, when women come into business, we have to be in a certain box so that people feel like we're respectable,
Mhm.
that we're trustworthy and whatnot. And what I love about your brand is that, you come out and you're like, listen, I'm smart. I know what I'm talking about. And when I feel like it, I'm going to fuck it up. you know?
That, and I think also, I believe that element of me and just how I maneuver around my brand, I think it makes people attract to me because I will show you the full 360 of a business from the good, the bad, the ugly, and then how it affects you personally. Speaking on the days that you wake up and you just got nothing, like you just have nothing in you to give.
Yeah.
Making business owners aware of just
Hmm.
how it affects you on those $0 days, the days when you're promoting for a week straight and you don't get a sale. Like no one actually explicitly lets you know that these days come, these days happen, and it happens to most, if not all of us.
Absolutely.
And most likely it's definitely a journey. It sounds as cliche as possible. Like it's the most cliche thing you can say. Business is a journey, guys. Success is a journey. It really is. Like it's something you have to take one day at a time.
Yeah,
And
you do have to walk all the way through it. There is
yep,
no I have an idea and then tomorrow, look guys, I'm raining on them.
Yeah.
yes, that doesn't happen. And then even I think that one of the most uh I want to say slept on business skill or underdeveloped business skill is something I like to call emotional maturity.
Oh
A
Lord,
lot of
yo.
people get into business and um put aside just general customer service, just the way they feel people should do business with them, not
Mm,
realizing they're the service and they're the product. So you have to be adaptable to different types of people,
Mm,
different types of lifestyles. People are going to be impossible. They're going to be entitled. They're going to be people. And you as a business owner need to learn to check your emotions. You
yeah.
know, there are times I've made several statuses, about my experience in business. And most of the reactions they will tell you like, I want to give a rude reaction. And the reality is, as a business owner, you can't do that,
mm-hmm.
especially as a small business owner, because that hurts you more than it helps you.
Yeah.
Do people cross the line? All the time. Do people be disrespectful? All the time. But this is where your emotions need to be in check and you pick your battles and you know how to respectfully shut something down. There are business owners who believe because they're at a certain level or they don't understand that clap back that we all praise in this day and time, especially when we're being crossed and people are trying to hurt us and to take from us, can actually come or hurt you. I've seen
Absolutely.
business owners lose business because they had a situation with a customer, and in all honesty, the business owner was in the right for lack of a better term, because the customer is not always right. We know this. We've been doing this long enough to know
Mm-hmm.
customers will do what they got to do. However, the fact you even thought it fit to be rude to a customer, to clap back for them, to put them to their place, and then take screenshots and let the world know this is what you did. Like, you literally like shoot your own self in the foot. And that is something that I want us to also be wary of. Like, you can not take any BS from somebody and still move in respectable ways. And I
I
think a
have
lot of
seen that.
people, yes, I see it happen a lot. Like, even for me, like, even if you want to make it a teachable moment and you want to show like, hi, hey guys, as a business owner, this is some things customers tell you. Some anonymity would be nice. Block out a name, block out a number, block out an icon. So it's just the content of what is there people can relate to, rather than it turning into a drag session. There are ways you can do it, but there are people who don't think that far. They're just upset, they're angry, they're frustrated with all that's going on. And then they just have this drag parade. And ironically, even though there are people underneath the post saying, yes, sis, you're right, or yeah, bro, you're right, people are crazy, they're also potential customers are thinking,
Absolutely.
is this your customer service?
Yep.
Is this what you will do to me if something goes wrong with our transaction?
I'm one of those people under the post looking like, okay, you ever seen that meme with that kid who's looking at the camera and then he looks like this to the side? Yeah, that's me. I will like gracefully bow out of supporting that business. And this is something that comes up a lot with Black ownership, where people are like, I support Black businesses only. Um, how do you feel about, Tanya, how do you feel about a business, a Black business specifically, that's doing poorly, whether it's customer service, a bad service, or a poor product or whatever? They're not doing well. And I've seen people come out and say, well, Black business this, and this is why I don't support Black people. Look at her face.
Do I need to say more?
No.
Like, this is why I don't support Black people and whatnot. What do you say to those people, and how do you handle situations when you are interacting with a Black business and you feel like they can improve?
So there are several layers to this. Like, let's dissect this for a bit. So the first thing is, I believe, in my most honest opinion, being a business owner, having friends that are business owners, being a consumer myself, and just having expectations, there is a thing, whether it's conscious or in the subconscious, that Black businesses are held to a higher standard than other businesses. True. Many people will say, okay, when I go to certain businesses, they give me this. Granted, you are right. And I'm in no way, shape, or form promoting poor customer service. There are people who don't know how to speak, don't know how to respond, don't know how to engage, don't know how to interact, don't know how to check their emotions, don't know how correct turnaround times, don't even know proper payment methods, but they want to say they're a business. So I understand from a consumer perspective, like, I do have certain minimum standards that I expect of a business. However, what I notice is missing when it comes to smaller businesses is the leniency we tend to give larger businesses. And that's just, it's a thread that runs through most transactions. People will also try to compare a small business to a large business. You have to also remember that we have very, very limited resources. And when you're supporting a small business, like, you can come to my house and see my entire operations. A bigger company like Amazon or Walmart, they have warehouses literally all over this country with thousands of employees. They have a whole customer service department. They have a whole finance team. They have a whole fraud department. They have a whole loss department. They have a department for online orders, and they have a department for in-store orders. Then there's an HR department for hiring. There's a customer resolution department there, and they also have the finances and the collateral to allow themselves to take upfront losses for the sake of customer service. The scale of you comparing what you expect of me to a business that large with those resources, I think a lot of people need to understand when asking for too much is a thing.
Absolutely.
At a basic level, we have to provide good customer service, prompt turnaround times, clear communication, quality products, and quality follow-ups. We have to. That's non-negotiable.
Yeah.
But at the same time, things happen, and I'm speaking only for the business owners who things happen with, and they're actually in front of it,
Yeah.
where they're trying to manage expectations. If something's
Yeah.
going to be late, they just don't, you know, go into the shadows. They reach out to their customers. They'll send an email. They'll put something on their website. They'll try to have as much information disseminated to this customer as possible. I'm speaking for those business owners, not the ones that don't do it, that miss the bar, don't even try to take my words and twist and say I'm justifying everybody, because we are different, even though we're in the same, or under the same umbrella.
Yeah.
So for the ones that do that, I see time and time again, people really get upset that even though we are doing our very best in our power, it's like even during COVID-19, when shipping was delayed, I had a friend who had a customer that was so upset that UPS did not drop her package off. UPS did not drop her package off, but she was so mad at this Black business. UPS has nothing to do with her business. And I think with larger companies, people know that they can go and huff and puff to the customer service department and get something free, get some fun refund, some crazy thing. They know it's highly unlikely a small business will do that, because we're not at that level yet. There are businesses that do refunds, they do replacements of products, which is great. But I think people know that they can't just ask of that immediately, so they guilt trip you by saying, oh, you're a Black business and you do this and you did this and you fail, and they'll start pulling all sorts of narratives to justify them having this exceptionally high expectation of you, knowing you selling something out of your kitchen, knowing that you literally just started. And in terms of managing expectations, again, we all have the bare minimum bar we have to meet, and it's non-negotiable as a business owner. But there's also times when I feel like customers expect you to do 14 cartwheels and 2 tumblers just for their one sale. And when you're that business owner that just delivers at a certain level, it's like they start to complain about just your delivery. Oh, why you didn't have a bag like this company, because I'm accustomed to buying, lashes in this company. This company puts it in this box that I like, and you claim to be a business owner. Here you come with this simple box. Like, you're not going to last long in business. Like, the expectations for me to deliver a quality product to you. I may just be starting out. My startup costs do not, I have not made back enough revenue. I have not made enough profit for me to reinvest in my business and upgrade my packaging. So there's also something to be said about people who don't consider our journey. There's some people who understand, like, don't worry, sis, don't do the shipping. I'm gonna come pick it up from the house. I'm gonna shout you out, keep growing. And then there's people who are like, well, why are you in business in the first place if you can't give me this because I'm so accustomed to this bigger company doing that for me? We need to be very, very aware of the fact that these companies have had such a big head start before us, and it's now that people are actually disseminating the information down to our level for us to understand certain workings when it comes to a business. People usually think business is, I buy something in bulk and I sell it back for a little profit, and this it, I'm a business. We all know you're a business owner, I'm a business owner. I'm not sure if Lee is, but you guys have a podcast, so you know it's never that simple.
Absolutely not.
There's so many back-end costs. There's so many things that you can't preempt. There's so many, even something at the level of personal development, no one tells us we need to do. My July goal personally is to learn Facebook ads, and I'm paying for that. A lot of business owners can't fathom the idea of paying for a course.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm in business. Why you just can't tell me how to do this? Like, no, because I want to grow in my business. This is my investment in myself. I'm learning Facebook ads, Google AdWords, because I want to tap into my core market. I'm also getting a business coach. As much as I know in business, The biggest mistake a lot of business owners make, especially Black businesses, is that they feel they're a know-it-all. They have it
Mm-hmm.
down pat. They send out 100 orders and they feel like, I got this down. The truth is, if you want to grow, you have to grow with your business. You have to grow personally. So see where your skill sets are that are lacking and put genuine efforts into taking yourself to the next level.
Okay.
Genuinely invest in yourself. Whether you go to YouTube University, whether you pick up a course, whether you do a certification, whether you get a mentor or a business coach, paid or unpaid, you need to make it a priority to develop yourself and develop your skill set. And you'll see how your business will grow with it. And I feel like a lot of people see it as just like an upfront cost. They don't want to pay, or they feel like people are overpriced, which people are overpriced. There's a lot of them that just, I don't even know, but you can find somebody affordable. You can have somebody work out a payment plan for something. And you can research somebody, get some testimonials and reviews, and really vet somebody. Because the person that I'm going to do my 2 courses with, I took 3 months to find them. I didn't just see one Facebook ad and just swipe my card. It wasn't even that bland. But I took time to review these people and research them and get testimonials and see their work and be their friends on Facebook for 2 months to see how they roll their business out. And before funny, I decided to be a customer.
I actually went through the same process, like vetting a whole bunch of people before I got my business coach as well. Before you came in, we were talking, there's so many things that you mentioned that we talked about. That's how I know that we're in sync, and I love it. You know, sidebar really quickly, I know you have a pet peeve when people come to you and they're like, what should I do as an entrepreneur?
I don't know. That will always be the answer. I don't know.
All right. So before you came in, we were talking about Mele was saying that, you know, there were times when he felt some type of way about not being able to carry certain business ventures all the way through, and jumping into businesses and feeling like, you know what, this doesn't work for me, and feeling like it, you know, was a failure. Of course, we talked about understanding as an entrepreneur when things don't work for you. That's also another thing that you have to learn, like, this is no longer serving me, this is not my realm, get out of there. I know I've purchased clothes from you before. You had the
Candy NYC.
Right. So what are some of the pitfalls that you've had to experience to get to this point? And, you know, give the people a little bit, we're going to head out in a few minutes, but give the people a little bit of reassurance when they feel like, I'm failing, this is not okay, I'm I don't want to be an entrepreneur anymore.
So this is where it comes back to managing expectations. I think there's been a wave of entrepreneurship, but they leave out the parts that you need to actually know. There's several mistakes I made in my first business because, again, I wasn't developed. I wasn't as educated as I should have been, and I had a very, very simplistic view of business. And I just thought, okay, I can just buy clothes and resell it because people like me and I'm Tanya and I'll do well. Cool. Then I got into business, and one of the first mistakes I made was I didn't have a target audience. I didn't know who the hell I was selling to. I was trying to sell to everybody. That was the first thing I did wrong. The second thing I did wrong is I did not have a business plan. I did not know where I was going. I did not know what my startup costs were. I did not know my development. I did not know how to manage my social media. I did not know any of these things formally. There was nothing for me to go back to justify and just kind of track what I was doing. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a long-term plan. I didn't have goals set other than a monthly revenue goal. I didn't have automation, which is something we sleep on a lot. I didn't have my social media platforms take care of themselves so I can take care of the customers. I was doing Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and managing the business on the back end, and doing website update, and doing customer service. If I had some automation, I would have had more time.
Love it. So tell the world about your past experiences, your credentials, and tell them about your products, where they can find it, and of course, where they can find you.
Okay. So I've been in business for 7 years. I've been through 3 types of businesses, and my final one, or the one I'm pivoting on right now, is ebook sales, specifically business ebooks tailored specifically to starting your business or developing your business. There is not information in there that's not useful. There's not extra pictures in there. There's not a size 108 font of me trying to tell you 3 bullet points in 26 pages. I have designed these products based on my experience. I put my knowledge in there. I put the mistakes I've made. I put the tools that are necessary for getting your business off the ground, whether you have launched your business already or whether you're thinking about it. I also offer business services, which include business audits. So if you have a business right now, and you're running it and you're like, something is off, we can do an audit to just check your entire process to see where you can improve or what suggestions can be made. I can help you write your business plan if it's something that's overwhelming to you. I can also review your business plan if you have written it and you still want a second eye. I have that service as well. And my favorite one, due to my pet peeve, I came up with this one. I have a brainstorming service. So if you want to come to me out of the blue and you say, hey, I want to think of a business, help me with it, book me. We'll sit for an hour and a half and we will throw ideas off of each other. I call it brainstorming, and we can see if we can plant a seed. All right. I am Badgyal Tanya. That's my name on Instagram. I am _BADGYAL Tanya. My business is the BGT brand. So it's b.bgt.brands on Instagram as well. My website is badgyalteam.com. You can catch me on any of my social media handles, in my website, in my bios. All of them have my website links, and it's pretty easy to navigate. I have business bundles too, so you don't have to worry about putting your ebooks one by one in the cart. You can just click a bundle that's applicable to you, what is for Instagram, what is for a business startup, or what is the ultimate bundle, which even covers marketing and branding.
Love it. I love
Superb.
And I have quad pay for the people who want to say it's too much money because it's $60. But if you consider $60 too much money, I have quad pay. You split that in 4. You get $15 every couple weeks.
I love it. With a capital
Awesome.
L. I love it. I love it. So, Mele, I know
Yes,
you
ma'am.
had a few questions. Squeeze one in really quickly and then we're going to sign out.
Well, you know what? She did the same thing she did to you. Like, I was gonna ask the major keys, but you just went through your major
Yeah,
keys of
she ruined the whole
entrepreneurship.
thing.
You spoke about black business. You just are on point with it.
Love
Oh,
it.
I do have one thing that I just want to bring up and get your perspective on it. I don't know if
Sure.
you saw. Trump just did a executive order to kind of make his executive
Skills.
yeah, his executive order was to give priority to people with skills over people who got college degrees. So, what is your perspective on that, and the aspect of dealing with
So I am
entrepreneurs?
not anti-tertiary education. I'm a business owner that believes in college degrees. I
Uh,
do believe that we do have to have some amount of formal education. It's not required, but as you start running business, you'll eventually get to a point where you're going to need the people who have these requirements. There are
yeah,
3 things that I say every business needs to have. You need an accountant, you need a lawyer, and you need a publicist. All 3 need to be formally educated. You're not just going to have Day from the block help you with your case. It's not realistic. So I want people to also
Damn.
understand that. I want
Damn,
people to
Day
also
Day.
understand. People also need to understand that everybody's not meant to be a business owner. So let's get that out of the way. If
mhm,
you are happy with your 9 to 5 and it fulfills you and it provides for you and you have a comfortable, beautiful life, that is okay.
I hope
I
people are
hate
not
to
mad. People are probably going to be like, they already said that. 'Cause
I'm sorry, but
really
it is
think.
good. It is okay not to have a job. It's okay not to have a business because business is hard and it's
yeah,
not cut out for everybody. It truly is not. And the
mm,
fact that people don't even spend time to go through the business development makes it even harder.
Yep.
sure.
Also, for me, the last part of what um y'all president did, because I'm Guyanese. Um, the last part of what he did was the undertone to that is you need to remember who his top supporters are. They are people who are usually very undereducated. So, what comes with that move is the ability to now legally put people ahead of those who are educated. And who is the largest group in the US of business owners and people educated? Black
Black
women and Black
women. Mm-hmm.
don't I want people to also realize that. So when I saw that, I saw a lot of people were jumping for joy. Usually
Yeah.
the people who like, oh, I told y'all about this, I want skills for business. Cool. Whatever is your lane, you stay in it. If you are a nerd, be a nerd and be the best nerd you can be. If you are a business owner, do that. But I don't want us to keep doing this clash of who is better than who. Live your
Agreed.
life, do what fulfills you, do what makes you happy. At the
Agreed.
end of the day, that's all that matters. And I hate seeing people tear down business owners and say they don't have an education of what they're doing, and vice versa, where there's people who are business owners notably being more successful than those 9 to 5, and assuming that person is miserable or assuming they're not
Mhm.
achieving or they're not living their success.
Yeah.
Success looks different to everybody.
You know
And we
what?
need to
We gotta bring Tanya back on another
I
episode.
know, right? Sheesh,
we
sheesh.
we gotta bring her back. This 30 minute is
It's not
it's
enough.
like a snack. It's like an
I feel like it's
Yeah.
an
appetizer.
hour.
Oh yeah, we
I put
had
my
30.
lashes on and everything.
Oh Lord, my. We're gonna come back for another episode with Tanya because we like her. We love her. And
We love
that
Tanya.
was a great question,
Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Mele. Um,
You're very welcome.
and I'm glad that no one said that person's name because there's certain names that I don't want on this podcast. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning into the Nola Row Experience podcast. Today was such a dope show because we talked about businesses. I did not get to go into Tanya's personal business, which I wanted to do, but we're going to
Hmm.
find another way to come back and get all up in her
Yeah.
business. Tune into the YouTube, tune into Instagram, Facebook, follow, subscribe, leave comments, like, and share, share, share. Love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you guys for
Peace.
having me.
Thank you for coming.